Hey everyone, welcome back to Synapse. I am Dia, a third year medical student, and today we'll be discussing free radicals and cellular injury as part of our general pathology series. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my previous video on cellular adaptation by clicking the I button above. Alright, let's dive in. Free radicals are molecules with one unpaired electron in the outer orbital. These radicals are highly unstable and tend to steal electrons from other molecules to stabilize themselves. This electron theft is what causes all the trouble and can potentially lead to cellular injury. Free radicals are formed when a molecule gains or loses an electron. In the body, free radicals can be generated either physiologically as a part of a normal metabolic processes or pathologically as a result of a disease. A major physiological source of free radicals is cellular respiration, also known as oxidative phosphorylation. Oxidative phosphorylation involves the production of ATP through electron transfer to complexes embedded within the inner mitochondrial membrane. Together, these complexes form the electron transport chain, which passes electron step by step to create a proton gradient, ultimately leading to ATP synthesis. The final step involves cytochrome C oxidase, also called complex 4, which transfers electron to oxygen. Under normal conditions, oxygen accepts 4 electrons and it is converted into water. However, when oxygen doesn't receive all 4 electrons, it ends up with unpaired electron forming free radicals. Since these free radicals are derived from oxygen, they are collectively known as reactive oxygen species or ROS. The reaction of oxygen to water involves the donation of 4 electrons in 4 steps with 1 electron transferred at each step. If oxygen receives 1 electron, it becomes superoxide with help of enzymes like xanthine oxidase and cytochrome P450. If it receives 2 electrons, it forms hydrogen peroxide facilitated by superoxide dismutase. When 3 electrons are added, it results in the formation of hydroxyl radical, one of the most damaging reactive oxygen species. Free radicals can also be generated under pathological conditions. One common source is inflammation, where phagocytes like macrophages and neutrophils play a key role. When a pathogen invades the body, these phagocytes engulf it, forming a phagolysosome. Phagocytes contain an enzyme called NADPH oxidase, which gets activated by lysosomal enzymes. This causes NADPH to lose 2 electrons through oxidation. Nearby oxygen molecules capture these electrons, forming superoxide ions. Another enzyme, superoxide dismutase, converts these superoxide ions into hydrogen peroxide by combining them with hydrogen ions. The process of producing superoxide ions and hydrogen peroxide is known as the respiratory burst. Free radicals can also be produced due to exposure to ionizing radiation such as ultraviolet light or X-rays. When radiation interacts with water in tissues, it knocks off an electron, creating a hydroxyl radical. Additionally, free radicals can form when metals like copper or iron accumulate in the body. For instance, in hemochromatosis, a condition characterized by excessive iron absorption, iron participates in the Fenton reaction. During this reaction, iron Fe2+ is oxidized by hydrogen peroxide producing iron Fe3+, hydroxyl radicals and hydroxide ions. Fe3+ is then reduced back to Fe2+ via hydrogen peroxide, creating a peroxide radical and a proton. This cycle repeats continuously, generating harmful free radicals over time. As a result, free radicals from the Fenton reaction can damage cells in multiple organs, leading to cell death and tissue fibrosis. Since the body naturally generates free radicals, it also has defense mechanisms to manage them. One such defense is antioxidants, like vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E, which donate electrons to neutralize the free radicals and protect the cells. Another defense mechanism involves metal carrier proteins that bind to metal ions for storage or transport. For example, transferrin, which binds to iron and carries it in the blood. Ceruloplasmin binds to copper and transports it. The body also employs free radical scavenging enzymes to neutralize the free radicals by converting them into harmless substances like water. Superoxide dismutase converts superoxide into hydrogen peroxide. Catalase break down the hydrogen peroxide into water in peroxisomes. Glutathione peroxidase does the same in the cytoplasm. When free radical production exceeds the body's defense mechanisms, cellular damage occurs. Free radicals react with lipids in the cell membrane, leading to lipid peroxidation. For instance, a hydroxyl radical attacking a lipid molecule leaves it with an unpaired electron. This lipid then steals an electron from a neighboring lipid, triggering a chain reaction that damages the cell membrane. Free radical can also oxidize proteins, disrupting the enzyme function and structural integrity. Moreover, DNA damage can occur due to oxidation, causing the strand breaks and mutations, which increases the risk of cancer. And that's a wrap on our discussion on free radicals and their role in cellular injury. I hope this video helped you understand the concept better. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Synapse for more medical content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.